I don't even know to open up this video. Um, we straight up just went straight to all-time highs, and I wasn't a part of the move, and that really kind of makes me feel some type of way. Honestly, I saw it coming from last week, but it just wasn't aligning for me, to be honest. And yeah, it is what it is. So markets back at all-time highs, and I'm not a part of the moves. That is it. So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Wednesday's episode of reviewing these markets and going over some of the opportunities because I didn't take any trades. Like I've only took some trades yesterday and I got stopped on those because I had the wrong bias and I could have really just switched bias anywhere, pretty much anywhere you bought since the past about 7, 8, 9 days, then you would have been in profit for the most part with proper risk management and if you know a little bit of technicals because we've been going up in a straight line. So this is the current weekly and daily candle. So as you can see, no manipulation, just straight up running up, up, up. And so we open up for Thursday's candle and we already take off. So we just ranging and then just pushing up on the lower time frame and no real pullbacks. And this is just unbelievable. So I got stopped out on the short that I had inside of here finally, but we're just running up, running up, running up. So this is what the 4 hour looks like, and it is the case right across the board. It's the same thing on SPX 500, which is this chart. Is the same thing on US 30. Well, US 30 is lagging a bit, but you know it can catch up in like a few days because it doesn't take anything for it just to put on 1,000 points. So it's not a broad sector rally, but it is a rally. So we're basically back at all-time highs, and let me show you what we look like on trading view. Let me actually pull up the NQ chart. Where is it now? So this is the actual NQ continuous contract chart. So we open right over here, we created the low and see we at a high right now. So we actually just running up, running right up. So this is what we look like after all this consolidation. We just took off to the upside, strong V-shape recovery and just gone right to all-time highs. If we're going to continue, I don't know. For the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days now, we've been having just back to back up days. Ever since this recovery year, we have only had one little pullback, and that was last week, Friday, and then immediately we gap down and then run back up. Well, it was the previous week, not last week. So, this is what we look like right across the board, and all of the markets worldwide pretty much are doing that. So this is S&P 500, yes, right up there. Nasdaq all the way up there. US 30 lagging a bit, and gold slowly recovering. But let us see what we get. But yeah, zooming into today's price action. Let me show you what we look like on the 1 hour. So as you can see, in today's price action, we've only had a consolidation and a small pullback to this other block. Let me zoom out or zoom in rather. Small pullback here, sideways movement for a little bit throughout Asia going into London, and by the time we got into New York, we just took off. So one red candle here pulling back perfectly to this 1 hour fair value gap, and then we just sprung from there right up. So because of my current schedule, I'm unable to capitalize on these moves, but it is what it is. That is no excuse. Um, I just have to be disciplined, sit on my hands, and these are some of the easier days to trade. Once you realize the bias is up, all you have to do is just wait for a pullback inside the macro, low risk, high probability trades, and just buy. And after I've been struggling inside the consolidation for several weeks, this is what we actually get. So let me go back to the 15-minute chart. So as you can see, we just straight up ran like I was saying. Where is this tool? So as I was saying, we just straight up just run right up, right up to the upside, and today is no different. This week is the fourth consecutive up week we've had, you know. Um, yeah, fourth consecutive up day we've had. So what I'm seeing here, consolidation throughout Asia, and this just a base pull back into this nice little fair value gap, and the supply demand zone right there, and just running. Only pull back today, which was decent enough to take a good entry, and it came into a refined 15-minute order block, fair value gap, and then we just continue just pushing up, pushing right up. So let me just quickly go to trading view. I won't even show you the accounts because I'm at the same place. No trades for me today. So I'm up, down on the week, but still up on the month, and we are pretty much halfway through this month. But like I said, it is what it is. You know, there's nothing to do about it. I can't complain. Um, let's just go over some of these moves. So no trading for me during the late night session. The market, the volatility has significantly decreased. So the moves that you would normally catch during the night, they aren't so fast, they aren't so long lived, and they aren't so, they have good potential to run. You can scalp, you can get tight stops, but they aren't, it's not moving much in the night. So if you catch a certain amount of points, maybe like 40 to 50, say 40 points, then it's time to take profit. So if you are watching, then that is what is going on. So we've been just going up, and I honestly, I'm not so comfortable just taking buys going up, and that's why I was just avoiding it, waiting for a pullback. So right throughout Asia, going into London, we just consolidated throughout London. We kind of just gave a nice little buy up here. So for this 4 hour open right at 2 a.m. Small pullback here, then went for the highs by 5, and then now by 6 we ended up closing down here. So this is a doji candle. We open at 6, went up a bit, then manipulated down. This reversal came outside of the macro, but you could have still caught it depending on how you look at it. As long as you're watching the order flow, then you can manage to get an inversion entry here. And as you can see, these bounces coming directly from fair value gaps. I recently implemented this indicator into my strategy, and it has been working decent, pretty good. So nice little scalp there. You would have been stopped if you go break even, but we had another recovery here right around 635 going up. So just pretty much sideways movement after that until we got into the New York Open. Honestly, I was on the charts all the way over here until around here, and I watched this move. I didn't take any sell, and I didn't take any buy. By the time I realized that we are inside of, let me show you. So I was looking at this overnight gap over here, and we actually retraced to um, the daily open right here, and we actually retraced to, what is it now? I think about 50% of the electronic trading hours gap. So that pullback came to about 50%, and the low down here, this is pre-market still. So I'm just looking at this part right here when we get into regular trading hours that we pull back to about 50%. So this was a decent buy entry. And guys, if you notice, New York open right here, right on this black line. This is New York 9:30 open. Not even a decent Judas swing pullback for the market. It's just straight up bullish. This was the only pullback, and I hesitated. I didn't trust this one, so I didn't take it. We ended up pushing up here. I prepped the magic keys, and I still didn't jump in. I was going to pull the trigger, but then I look at it, I'm saying, what if this thing come back down? What if we finally pulling back now? And I didn't take it. And we ended up just pushing. And by here, I had to basically close on the laptop and got off the charts because work is starting for me. So this is around 9 o'clock for me, 10 o'clock New York time. So during the macro, we had this little fair value gap entry, as well as using this order block you could have gotten an entry. And if you notice on this 4-hour candle open right here for the 4-hour PO3 at 10, right where we open here, no manipulation as well. So we just pretty much ran from there. Inversion here again, ran up. Small little pullback coming to this. I think it's a 5-minute fair value gap. And then we just push up again. So by the time we got to 11, I was off the chart, so I wasn't able to capitalize on this. However, this is a nice trade. Nice entry right here. I could have entered it. If I was on the chart and watching, because I realized this thing going up, this would have been a beautiful entry to go along from this macro here at 11. Nice buy entry in that macro, and if you wait for the inversion, nice entry for say 50 points. Had a little pullback at about 11:30 there about to this fair value gap, but we maintain the order flow going right up into lunchtime. So by the lunch macro, pull back again into this bullish fair value gap. Nice little pullback inside of the macro, and then we got a inversion, stops below here, and you would have caught another push to form that high there, and that's another 50 points approximately, probably about 40 to 50 points. So 50 points, 50 points with a tight stop, so another 1 to 3 depending on how tight you set your stop. But another good scalp there before we ended up reversing. I don't know if I would have caught this reversal because this is during lunchtime and it's outside of my macro window. But then again, if you are bullish, all you had to do was wait, and we had another entry right at about 1. So going into the PM session or the lunch close now, we had another entry right here retesting this inversion fair value gap, as well as retesting this order block right here. You could have caught an entry to go long again, another 80 points. This top is a bit wider depending on how aggressive you took the entry, but still from there we still had another maybe 100 points from that low there. By the time we got to 2, where is the close of this 4-hour candle, we had another entry again using this as a order block, and one entry here would have come back to break even, but inside of the macro again, another nice entry at 2 for this 4-hour candle to open, and we just ran from there all the way up. Several entries from our fair value gap entry here. Nice entry at this fair value gap again, and by the time we got to close, the close macro, we had another entry from this other block, another entry here, and we just ended up just pushing all the way up, and this gave us another 180 points right there, and that's how we close out the day. So pretty decent, clean price action. All you had to do was wait for a pullback, get an entry, and just buy and hold. But because I'm not on the charts these days, and honestly I've been thinking about taking a day, but yeah, I don't know. It's like every time I take a day, the market doesn't move as clean, and we've been having consecutive clean days. One little pullback inside of here, but no manipulation on the daily candle, no Judas swing. So if you notice, as I show you over here, no manipulation on the daily candle on Nasdaq 100 or NQ. So one little bit of wick here. Usually we've been having some wide swings, but it is what it is. We at all-time highs. We hit all-time highs. I don't know if we're going to open up here tomorrow. We're going to have a pullback, but right now we're in free range again. So if you don't know how to trade this part, then you just have to use fibs, and it's just free space up here unless we get some type of pullback. But I mean, it is what it is. We are traders, we find ways to get entries, so it should be fine. So that is it for today's video. Until next time, peace.